You've just opened the soup can. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the many flavors we offer as we ask Soup No O. Hello and welcome to the Soup Can, where we ask Soup No O. I'm your host, Campbell's, and with me today is local podcast host Quenton Johnson, who has two podcasts. One is a sports podcast called Roundtable Sports, and the other is Happy Hour with Q, and we'll touch on those a little bit later. Quenton, say hi to all two people that listen to my channel here.
Hello, two people that listen to this channel. It's a pleasure to be here.
I first met Quenton. We worked together about 4 years ago, up until
So we met in 2018.
Yeah. Because I had started late 2017 at company who we will try to keep nameless.
We'll work on that.
And then you came in 2018. I was still on second shift, and you came in on the coverage team.
Yeah, about what's that? I guess you could say it's like an after hours type of position, and I did pretty much every position there as far as like the time frame, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
mornings, nights, weekends. It was kind
of.
Yeah,
you had a rough go. I thought working second shift on the account that I was on was pretty tough.
Yeah.
But Q and I quickly became friends, working together. We had a cool bond. It's like he'd text me, "Hey, I'm gonna be a little bit late. Can you cover for me if they ask if I'm there?" I got you. But I came to learn that he's a wrestling fan and big sports guy, so that helped our bond and friendship form. And he's one of the handful of people that I still talk to from nameless workplace.
Yeah, we had a lot in common, like even with Marvel and DC and
forgot about that.
Dragon Ball Z. So it was kind of like, oh, cool, you like the same things I like,
and it's cool. I love that a lot of that stuff has become more mainstream.
Yeah.
Like before being a wrestling fan, it was cool in your group.
Yeah.
Outside of that, people are like, "Oh, you watch that fake crap."
I still get that sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's more acceptable now that the cat's out the bag. We all know it's pre-scripted,
Right. With the kayfabe being what it is and all that stuff. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's talk quickly about the two podcasts that you host or co-host with. First one is Roundtable Sports. I've listened to a few episodes. It's a very good sports podcast. I'll let you take over from here and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so me and my friends, his real name, he's going to hate me, his real name is Lamar, but his nickname is Saint, and he's a very huge Saints fan. And he came up with the idea and the concept. I always wanted to start a sports podcast, but I was a little hesitant just because I was like, am I going to be consistent? Am I going to really focus? I like to watch sports, but do I want to talk about it? And once we started rolling with a couple of episodes, it was just like second nature. And then we have a good chemistry. We've known each other since about 7th, 8th grade. So,
wow.
Yeah. The funny story is that he was in the 8th grade and I was in the 7th grade, and he was way bigger than me. He was
bigger than you.
Yeah, he was a bigger guy. I was really little and trying to play football. I was very scared. So we always tease each other about those times and how we progress. And he's a former athlete and he does personal training, so he has a little bit of best of both worlds. And then with me, I play high school ball, played a little semi-pro outside of that. So yeah.
Now on Roundtable Sports, do you guys focus on all sports and you emphasis on single sport? Or?
Yeah, so right now we're just whatever sport is going on right at that point in time, that's what we focus on. So if it's baseball season, which is coming up pretty soon, we'll have to start gearing more towards the baseball talk a little bit. But with how everything went down with COVID last year, we were able to kind of, expand our horizons, just bring up certain topics like, hey, who's the best point guard in your opinion, even though they're not playing because of the pandemic. So we're looking forward to doing more of that this year, especially as things kind of lighting up with the pandemic and fans are able to come to events. Maybe we can start integrating more sports, but we do mostly basketball, football, and baseball.
Well, you stick with the major ones.
Yeah. We dodged in hockey a little bit, but we're more or less like, 'cause we're not really hockey aficionados. Like we don't
Right.
really know as much, but we pay attention to the standings or statistics and who's hot and who's not when it comes to that. But we were looking forward to doing more once everything gets a little bit back to normal.
Okay. So it's cool that you touch on everything with the sports, even though, like you said, you're not hockey aficionados or whatever, but you still throw it out there for people who
Yeah.
want that little bit of taste of hockey to give them, like you said, what's hot and
Yeah.
where their standings are and stuff like that. And I'm sure if the Olympics happen, you'll probably touch on what country's doing well and things like that. But like you said, I've listened to a few of them. I like it. It's a nice podcast to get caught up on sports because with all the sports that happen, it's so hard to keep up, even with having the internet and everything. So now you do another one. Is this one a solo podcast?
Yeah, it's a solo. It's Happy Hour Q podcast. It's more of a solo, but I have guests on there.
Okay.
And what the podcast is about is pretty much is that adult conversations you have with your friends, your family. And, I kind of like to have it as you get off work, you're tired, you just need that adult interaction. So you want to be able to, have a drink and just talk. So that's kind of what it is. And then I try every week to have like a drink of the week to try.
Nice.
I might have a little funny story behind it of me maybe making a fool of myself drinking this, or kind of give some like fun facts about the history of the particular drink that I have. So I've been somewhat consistent with it, but I like to do more of the YouTube side and be a little bit more social presence, I guess, on social media with it. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. A lot of people have good feedback.
That's why I started, this fancy thing of mine, because it's something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Same with you. It sounds like, it's something that you wanted to do, and, you're a little bit passionate about it.
Yeah, I like
keep
it
going. But those two podcasts, I will post a link to both of those in the comments section on my YouTube channel. Again, it's Roundtable Sports. Everything you want to know about sports happening right now. And the other is Happy Hour with Q. I'll be sure to post the link in the comment section of my YouTube channel. Again, Quenton, I've known you for 4 years now.
Yeah, it's 4 years now.
And
wow. Yeah, because I started around this time at the place that should be nameless. Yeah, so it was about 4 years now.
And when we started there, that was probably the most fun job at the time that I had.
Me too. I talk about it all the time that I just felt more of an adult, wasn't micromanaged. Everybody was just really cool, and if you needed help, they're willing to help. And I really enjoyed that. That first year, I really enjoyed it a lot.
And I had come over to Nameless Workplace from one of the big three.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was an old school mentality there. Now, when I moved over, what I liked is there were older people running the show, but they adapted and had that more modern mindset of how people are today, where dress code was a little bit more casual. I could walk in wearing something like this. It was cool. They let you, be you more, and it was a fun environment to work in, especially at night.
Oh yeah.
Not that we got into a lot of mischief, but it was a little bit more downtime. So I was walking to the other side of the office to come bullshit with you, and we could stand there and do that for an hour and not miss a beat.
I like your choice of clothing. It inspired me at night to be more comfortable. So I will say I enjoy those days.
Yep, because it was by about 6 o'clock. There was maybe 2 other people in the building outside of me, and I would bring sweats, and I just changed into sweats. So for half my shift, I was comfy. I
got to the point if I was working at night, I would come in sweats. I'll bring my jeans in the car just in case, or bring them next to me. But literally, I would do the shift, and I would try to get on time out of there before all the big heads come in. So, yeah, man, I look back at it, and I know I complain about working nights, but I actually miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little
I
bit more
mean, it was
relaxation.
that little bit of freedom. Like you said, they let you be you
Yeah.
and treated you as an adult, and nothing was really micromanaged. Met a lot of great people,
Yeah.
a lot of which I still talk to, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
Then the pandemic happened,
Yeah. That.
and this is probably after you and I both scratched and clawed to get on first shift.
Yes.
I mean, we paid our dues, but man, it just seemed like it took forever for the both of us to get.
Yeah. It was a lot of, which I know a lot of people know, office politics and things of that nature, but it seemed like once we started getting our stride, that happened, and the uncertainty of employment came into question. So it was kind of, oh, what are we gonna do next? And
Right.
it took the wind out of things a lot. So
Yeah. And then, like you said, the pandemic happened, and kind of a little bit before the pandemic, the account you and I had been on, we were given the news that it wasn't going to be renewed.
yeah, that was right. Yeah.
So a lot of layoffs happened, and the way all that was handled, I don't think it was handled as well as it should have been.
Yeah, I understand things happen, but that kind of showed me how things are behind closed doors. I didn't like how things were, not communicated to us a lot. I understand maybe they didn't know, but I felt like they had at least a hint of knowing how to move and stuff because even after things kind of calmed down a little bit and I got called back to work, it was still kind of chaos,
Because you had gotten called back a few weeks after I did.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, when I was called back, it was still handled kind of poorly because they said I was going to be on first shift. Then on a day's notice, like, we need you back on second shift. And then same thing happened going back to first shift. That's what the account they placed me on temporarily. I was basically on a long-term layoff. Like, I had an end date, so I had to get out.
Yeah, I mean, we used to like meet up and just have conversations at work. We'll go down and we're like, hey, so did you hear anything? I'm like, no, I haven't heard anything. Have you? And it shouldn't have to be like that. You know?
Because, and we'd ask management, and I'm sorry if this is boring anyone, but this is our story, man. But, like you said, we'd meet up, and because we were told we were going to be placed on another account. Yeah. They had plenty of openings, blah, blah, blah. We all interviewed for them. Yeah, you got it. I had found out from somebody else that the account wanted me. Nobody contacted me. Management on-site or off-site. So I was just like, all right, so what do I do? I'll just keep showing up to work till I'm told not to come back.
Yeah, that was really weird. But, we kind of both decided that maybe the best step was to move on,
Yep. I was a little quicker on that.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I had spent probably 2.5 months looking for a job in that field before I said nope. And then I had a good friend who said, come work for me. It doesn't matter your experience level. It's all on-the-job training. So I was able to jump ship and find a job that the pay is comparable, a little bit more physical. But let's talk about the path you took after I had left, because you had stayed on probably a good. Well, when did you leave? We'll just start there.
Yeah, so I left maybe the end of September.
Okay.
So my decision to leave was just the stress, mental health stress. Like,
okay.
I was literally like dreading going to work. I was literally like disliking everything about the job, and that's not me. I actually used to love this company, so it was kind of heartbreaking. So it was to the point where I'm like, if I'm not giving it my all
right
when I'm working, then I know I need to make a move. So I decided to leave. I went to a mortgage company to work for them. We'll just say like that. They're well known, so people should put it together. But I did that for about 3 months, and it was okay. Wasn't a big fan of inbound calls, like like a call center based. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I got used to it, But I decided, like, well, maybe I should go back to what I know. And also, I had the job that I'm at now. They offered me a position maybe back in August, but I decided to be loyal to the company that should be nameless. I was like, hey, I've been here 3 years now, and I'm like, I'm here. I'm gonna be here, and we're gonna get through this. So when I knew they offered me again, I was like, maybe this is a sign. So the past 2 months, I've been working with them. It gives me the vibes of just more relaxation. It's not a micromanaged basis, and I'm cool with that. So yeah, so that's my path right now. Who knows what will happen in the future, but I enjoy it.
I mean, as long as you're happy and you feel like there's a sense of purpose for you going to work at the job you're at.
Yeah.
Is Aaron working with you or vice versa?
So that's a funny story. So
Aaron, real quick, Aaron. Sorry to interrupt you. Aaron is another guy that we had worked with on second shift and coverage shift. Great guy. I'd love to get him to come on because I know he's got so much stuff going on. He's got his hand in so many different side businesses and projects and things like that. But he was another cool cat that we had worked with and had good times with.
Yeah, I've talked to him in the past couple of weeks. He's doing good. So I actually, I was going to work with him. I actually worked with him maybe a week.
Okay.
Where he's at now. But pretty much it was one of those situations where I had to kind of match the job offer. Like, hey, is this going to be better than the other one?
Mm-hmm.
And when the job that me and him were at asked me, did I get any other job offers? I said, well, I did, but I'm decided that I'm going to maybe kick it with you guys and stay with you if there's a pay increase. Maybe I shouldn't have told them that I had a job offer, but I wanted to be honest. And then it kind of just seemed like maybe a sour taste in their mouth. And I had to, my mom, she's good now, but she had COVID. And I had to kind of call off a day or two just to get that taken care of, to make sure she's good. She takes care of my grandmother, so I was worried about that. And I asked, is there a way I can be off for maybe a week or so I can... And I understand it's a business. They was like, no, we really need you. We need to transition someone else in. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for the opportunity. And that's when I was like, maybe it was best that I took the job offer anyway because I had more flexibility. Mm-hmm. And, my mom's good now, but at that time, so me and Aaron worked together briefly at another company for maybe a week.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
I'm glad that your mom and grandma, your grandma never had it, right?
No, which is really weird. She never had it. She's in her 90s, and
good for her.
Yeah, she did. My mom had it, and my mom had to take care of her, but she didn't get it. So
well, I won't ask too many questions about that, but I had the COVID too. But glad, the older folk.
Yeah.
Really glad that your mom's okay after that, and so now here we both are, happier.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Different jobs. I left the field of logistics that you are still currently in.
Yeah.
To pursue something else. A lot of the friends that we have still working there. Maybe we should try to do on maybe happy hour with Q.
Oh, that would be dope.
Try to get everybody either on a Zoom podcast or.
Guys, come to my house. That's cool.
Hey, yeah, I'm welcome to have everybody in the Soup Can too. So that'd be kind of fun because there's Tori, she'd be down. Oh, yeah. Sam would probably come in. Mm-hmm. Aaron, if we could get him, but I know he just had a kid and got hitched.
Yeah, he's a lot going on. So, yeah.
But he's got a lot going on. But another reason you're here too is because you and I, hopefully, if we can keep it going, we're going to give you a third podcast to be part of, which is the Soup Can, and do a once a month wrestling, because you and I are big wrestling fans. As much as we dislike the WWE, they still provide some hours of entertainment with hating on them.
Yeah.
But tonight is the Elimination Chamber, and we can I don't do transition very well, so we're just going to transition right into talking about wrestling, and we're going to try to have a recurring episode once a month to recap not just WWE, but AEW, and maybe throwing a little bit of Impact, and if ROH is doing anything. I know NWA kind of on a little bit of hiatus. I haven't seen too much about them, but tonight is, like you said, is the Elimination Chamber, and we got just a few matches on the card tonight.
Yeah.
There's not many. We have the U.S. title match, which is a triple threat with your boy Keith Lee, my boy Matt Riddle, and Bobby Lashley.
So I'm hearing that Keith Lee might get pulled out due to injury. So
What?
I just heard
I didn't
that
hear that.
Maybe I just heard that like an hour ago. So I don't know how true that is, but that's
You know, I
like
did see something on CBS Sports that said, I'm name dropping everything else but the companies we worked for, but I guess, who cares? As long as, I don't want to put, bad words associated with somebody, but it said TBD, to be determined, when it had Lashley versus Riddle, and I swear earlier today I'd read something that it was still Keith Lee, but I checked later, right before you got here, so maybe you're right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe that's like a game time decision or something.
Could be. I love Keith Lee. I didn't really care what they did with him when they first pulled him up to the main roster, which it goes with a lot of the NXT cats.
Yeah.
But let's quickly run down this card here. I'm picking Riddle, the original bro, man.
Picking Riddle? Okay.
Matt Riddle. But if Keith Lee's in the match, I think it's Keith Lee's time.
Yeah, I'm a little split because I want to know what they're going to do at WrestleMania with the U.S. Or they got other plans for Bobby Lashley. So I'm thinking you might be right. It might be because Riddle's been getting beat almost every Raw. So,
but think about it. If you go back to Royal Rumble, we'll rewind and cover Royal Rumble a little bit. In that match, who looked better than Riddle? The Royal Rumble match itself really made Riddle look like a star.
Yeah, and he was in the last 5 or something like that. So yeah, he it might be his time. I know Vince likes him. He likes his
his original bro, man. Yeah. If I can flip my sandals off like he does.
Right. So yeah, you know what? I might go with Riddle on that one as well.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. I love Bobby Lashley. Loved him when he was in TNA.
Yeah.
But the best thing about him in TNA was his theme song. His theme music was awesome. But him being part of the Hurt Business is great. I love that the Hurt Business has most of the gold. If it was anyone other than MVP, and this isn't a knock against MVP, but he doesn't need the title, I'd say give him the title and just give the Hurt Business all the gold on Raw or whatever show they're on. I don't even know.
Yeah, maybe.
Are they on Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe, I don't know, because it all depends. Drew is defending his title in the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
So who knows who's coming out
we'll get to that too, because I gotta, and this is not, my theory's not going to happen at all, but I would love it. Okay. The next match, I don't know order, but the next match that was listed on the card is the women's tag team match, which I have mixed feelings about because I would rather the women's tag team champions go against somebody that isn't the women's heavyweight champion or the women's world champion, because that just takes a match off the card. And I get the Elimination Chamber is already long, but it's either you do away with the tag team match and have a women's elimination chamber, because there's no storyline with the women's championship right now that's any good. But I digress. You have the women's world tag team match, which is Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler against Sasha Banks, who is the current WWE Women's Champion, and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I sense somebody's, I don't want to say heel turn, but I don't know, with Sasha and Bianca, they're pretty friendly, and I know WrestleMania's coming up, and Bianca's going to go against Sasha Banks for the title. So it would be kind of weird for them to be the champions. And in NXT, you had Dakota Kai and her partner, who I cannot think of their name.
I'm a little behind on NXT, but
so,
NXT's getting better with Adam Cole, baby.
Oh yeah, definitely. So with Dakota Kai and her partner having a chance to go against the tag team champions, are they going to give it to Bianca and Sasha and then have them lose to Dakota Kai in NXT? Or are they going to have Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax retain and have maybe Sasha do...
But in WWE fashion, they could have Sasha Banks just leave Bianca Belair in the ring.
Yeah.
Just have Banks do the heel turn and just walk away, because Banks is a pretty good heel.
Yeah, I like her heel. She can be very hateable.
She could be, but I mean, you look at they've done that before in the past. Look at 2-Man Power Trip.
Yeah,
I believe one of those, Triple H or Austin, had the title, and they had the tag team belts, but injuries to those cats stifled that. But I'm gonna go with the champs retain with the women's tag team.
Yeah, I think so. I think that match was just thrown together so fast that they didn't get a chance to build a storyline even with them.
And I don't know what Asuka's doing. Apparently, it's not on the card. Is this like a Raw pay per view, or do they do that? Or is it, I mean, it can't be a Raw pay per view because the Raw and SmackDown titles are on the line. So I don't know what they're doing with the women's division with Asuka and because
who's gonna?
Because at WrestleMania,
yeah,
you're gonna have you're gonna have Jackson Baszler most likely going against that NXT tag team that won the Dusty Classic.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you watched on Wednesday, but I can't remember her name. She goes, I'm going to take this boot and stick it so far up your hole, you won't get it out. And if anybody who watches wrestling knows the reference, Nia Jax had made a comment about hurting her ass. So.
Yeah.
But, again, I'm going with the champs retaining that one. Same?
Yeah. I'm going to go with
the same on that one?
Yeah.
Then we got the Raw Elimination Chamber, which the current WWE champion, he's not Roman's the Universal Champion. I can't keep this shit straight. You got Drew McIntyre as champion against Sheamus, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Hardy, and Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston I think got a bad deal on his championship run. That's a whole nother episode.
They really shit the bed with that one.
But this is the one that leads into my theory that's not gonna happen.
I gotta hear this.
I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan, but the only reason I'd want Jeff Hardy to win is because then Edge could challenge Jeff Hardy, and it wouldn't matter Edge winning over Hardy because Hardy's that veteran just like Edge.
Yeah.
But go even further back, there's a lot of history between the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, Matt Hardy and Edge. And I remember when Jeff Hardy came back and Edge had the title, this was back when Matt Hardy was out of the company. Jeff Hardy came running down the ramp and was like, you talk too much, and then they just, fisticuffs. Hardy winning tonight over all those guys, if he pins Drew, it makes Drew look bad. But if it came down to like Hardy and Styles, they had some good matches in Impact.
Yeah.
It could be okay. But I have a feeling Drew's going to retain. But I think Edge versus Hardy at Mania would add a little bit to it. Because then at that point, it's like, all right, Edge can win the title. But having Edge beat McIntyre at Mania...
Yeah. It's good storytelling. It's the reason why it won't work is it's WWE, and they don't... Long time storytelling is not in their book of cards for some reason. I don't know. But I like that idea. I wish it would happen, but knowing WWE, they don't think like that.
I mean, any one of these cats winning the Raw Chamber is fine. Yeah. But even still, I think we talked on the phone just a few days ago. Why can't we have Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus? That writes itself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. To me, it's like, okay, if Drew McIntyre retains, which he probably will, then now you're going to have Sheamus and him go against each other at WrestleMania when that's good, but why waste it on Elimination Chamber? Like just...
We have the same mindset with that. I mean, I love AJ Styles. I would love to see any one of these guys win this chamber.
Yeah.
But I've said before, Drew McIntyre to me is a champion that needs fans in attendance. Mm. I don't know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think Drew got just the bad end of a short stick because of the pandemic and him not having that crowd reaction, beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania last year. So
which was sweet.
Yeah. If he could have had that, even though I know WrestleMania this year is going to have a little bit of a crowd because of Tampa, but it would have been nice if he would have had that. So I don't know if they're going to do something where Sheamus wins the title tonight and then they give Drew that crowd reaction, him winning at WrestleMania against Sheamus. I don't know if they want to flip-flop the title like that. I like Drew. I've been very impressed with his in-ring work. Mm-hmm. I like him as a champion, but I kind of wish, like you said, he had the title when there was fans, and they gotta find somebody. Sheamus is a good heel for him, but besides Sheamus, I don't know who else he can go against at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know.
Because the problem is if Edge challenges for the Universal title, I could see them doing Drew versus Sheamus.
Yeah.
If he challenges for the WWE title, it's going to be Drew versus Edge, and heel Edge is great, but he's winning whoever he challenges against because that's WWE.
Yeah, they're gonna probably have him hold it to SummerSlam or something like that.
Yeah, because the amount of money they're paying him.
Yeah,
he's getting a title.
I mean, if you're gonna let Goldberg win the title, you're gonna let Edge win the title.
I'm glad he didn't win that nonsense.
Yeah, that would have been.
Then, with all of Paul Heyman's wisdom, he was able to maneuver Roman Reigns out of the Chamber match, but still compete at Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber for the Universal title, you've got Kevin Owens, who lost the 3 pay-per-views straight.
And we like Kevin Owens, but it's just like, how many times you gonna keep losing?
Right. You got Daniel Bryan. Oh, we didn't pick a winner. Let's jump back to the Raw Chamber. I'm gonna go with, unfortunately, Drew retaining.
I'm gonna go a little different. I'm just gonna go. I think Drew's gonna retain, but I'm gonna go AJ.
I would love that. Like I said, my theory: put it on Hardy. Let Edge beat Hardy at Mania.
I would like that.
But my gut says Drew's gonna retain. Now we can move to the Universal Championship Chamber. Again, Kevin Owens, who fought for the title 3 pay-per-views in a row and lost. You got Daniel Bryan, who I believe is on his way out for a permanent retirement. I think he should get another run. You got Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Baron Corbin. The winner of that gets the number 1 contender tonight against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you can eliminate Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Even though, throw it out of left field, let him win. But I don't know who. This one's a little tougher to predict. What do you think?
I'm thinking Cesaro since he's on a little momentum right now.
Okay.
I know that Cesaro and Roman Reigns have had some decent matches in the past. I mean, if WWE, with the way they think, they'll have Kevin Owens win again. Just because they have a feud.
Well, don't say that.
I mean, if he wins again, he better beat Roman tonight, but I doubt it. So, I think in this, it's going to be interesting. I think you can get rid of Baron Corbin and Jey Uso. I don't think those two will have a chance. Sammy, he's a wild card. I don't think so, but I think between Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan, I think one of those 3. I think it's going to be a face, and I just don't know which one. But if I had to put all my money on it, I'm gonna go with Cesaro.
I mean, I think, like you said, with those guys in this match, as I stutter, this is going to be a phenomenal Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
I would like Cesaro to win, and in typical WWE fashion, Cesaro will win because now he's getting that push because his contract is up soon.
Yeah, and they don't want to see him go to the other. They see him shine. They learned their lesson with Dean Ambrose.
Yep.
And they're trying to hold on to all their good workers. And Cesaro, I think, to me, he's been one of my favorite wrestlers in the past 5 years.
He's a great worker.
Yeah, I always root for him. I always want to see him with the world title. I know he's not a great talker, but still, I just think his presence, he's one of the strongest people in the company.
Yeah.
Just give him the title, see what happens, you know?
Yeah, why? That's the thing. It's like, that's what, and then we'll get to the next match. That's what AEW kind of did during the pandemic. They took some chances with guys to see what the internet would say because that's all they had. They didn't have fan reactions.
Yeah.
Like, I know they revealed 2 big names. I mean, as much as people don't want to acknowledge it, Matt Hardy is a big name in the wrestling business. And when he showed up on AEW, that was huge. Yeah. Same thing with Brody Lee. Rest in peace. Also known as Luke Harper from WWE. When he showed up, it was phenomenal. You know, the internet was abuzz.
Yeah.
But WWE didn't really take a shot at anybody. And I mean, let these guys lose the belt. I mean, you could always put it back on them in a quick story.
I mean, you can always find a way to
Yeah.
give like you will if Roman lost tonight. Like you could find a way to put it on him on SmackDown on Friday. You know.
I mean, you could reinstate the rematch clause that went out the window with Brock Lesnar. No automatic rematch given to the former champion.
Yeah.
But look what they did with the Miz, and when he cashed in the Money in the Bank this year, because John Morrison was the one that said the Miz is cashing it in and handed it in. Well, WWE said, well, Miz wasn't the one that cashed it in. It was Morrison. It doesn't count. So now they gave the case back to the company, in my opinion, to the company's top heel when they make him the top heel, because you love to hate the Miz.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Miz took himself out of the chamber.
Yeah. He could be sneaky tonight. Drew can possibly get pinned. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting with that Money in the Bank, because that year is coming up of him having that. Sort of year.
Right.
He won it from Otis, but
whether or not that matters.
Yeah, so I wonder what's going to happen with that. Whoever faced Roman tonight, I think is going to be a great match, but I still think Edge is going to be the one that faces Roman at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because they do the spear, they do the same move.
Yeah, but I would prefer him not to challenge for the Universal Championship, only because heel Edge is great.
Yeah.
And we already have heel Roman. So if you put him against, any one of the guys in the Raw match can be very easily turned face, other than Orton, and go against heel Edge. But that's just my opinion.
And I think with the Raw side, it's just up in the air, because we don't know what's going to happen with Drew and Sheamus. If that is going to be the feud, would that be for the title?
Right.
It's one of those toss-ups. So I guess we won't know until after
the event, which kicks off in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I would love to see, the best outcome for Elimination Chamber, because this is kind of a throwaway pay-per-view because it's right before Mania. It's like, why do you do this?
Pay-per-view before Mania? Isn't there another one, I think?
Fastlane?
I think, or
Is
something.
that still a thing?
I hope not. Or Backlash or something.
I don't know. But
yeah.
I would love the Miz to cash in.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch Miz versus Edge all day at Mania, but it's WWE. He's going to tease it and not cash it in.
I like that Jeff Hardy thing. I like that.
That's just a theory that I'm a Hardy mark, but Hardy's not going to get another title run just to set up Edge, but it's the least hurtful to any other talent in those. AJ Styles is a name, Kingston's a name, all those guys are, but to still make a guy look good and not hurt what he has left in his career, Hardy's the guy. Hardy's taken loss after loss. He's like a 4-time world champion, and nobody even can remember any of his title runs. No. I think he beat Triple H once for a minute.
That's the one I remember, that he beat Triple H, and I was like, man, that was so long ago. It's like a distance blur.
And I don't know who else he pinned. I'll have to ask some of my other wrestling aficionados.
What do you think about Edge? I know some people. I don't think he would do it, like challenging for the NXT title, because he wants to work with young talent.
Knowing how WWE is, that was a ratings boost for NXT, because they're getting killed by AEW.
Yeah.
But Finn versus Edge, that's just money. Because Edge can still go at 47 years old.
He looks better than so when he was wrestling 10 years ago.
Yep.
So
and Finn's our age.
Yeah.
Well, maybe between our ages. There's a slight age gap between us.
Yeah.
Finn's just great in the ring.
Yeah, after watching TakeOver, him and Adam Dunn, Pete Dunne, I should say, not Adam Dunn.
That was...
that was a pretty good match.
That was a solid 5. These other wrestling critics, it's like 4.75. That was a 5.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was... So, then we got... that covers the... what the hell's it called? Elimination Chamber. The matches there. I know AEW has a pay-per-view coming up at the beginning of March, I believe.
Yeah, Revolution, I believe, yeah.
That card looks pretty stacked.
Yeah,
Our boy Sting's coming back. He's
Yeah.
tag teaming with Darby Allin.
He scared the hell out of me getting powerbombed the other night.
All the reports said he was fine. He took it like a champ.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked dead, staring up, but he sold it pretty well. I mean, for a 60-year-old guy or however old he is. But WWE telling a guy that he can't go doesn't mean anything.
I think they're gonna regret that, and they had a chance. I know they're an old man, but they had a chance for a cinematic match between him and the Undertaker. I think.
And that's, I agree with you.
I don't know why you won't pull it. There's no crowd. You guys been doing cinematic matches. Get that out the way. Give the fans what they wanted.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to push them so hard because everything is recorded prior.
Mm-hmm.
But I think sometimes WWE gets in their own head, and it's an ego thing. He's a WCW guy. It's like, well,
Yep.
WCW has been around since 2001. That was like 19, 20 years ago. So I don't understand that.
But I think with Elimination Chamber's kickoff time approaching, we'll end the episode here. Quenton, thank you for coming on. I look forward to recapping not only Elimination Chamber, but we'll set a date for after Revolution so we can talk more AEW and work in a couple other wrestling promotions into the mix. And on that note, be sure to check out Roundtable Sports and Happy Hour with Q. Again, I'll post those links in the comment section of my YouTube channel. Quenton, thank you for coming into the Soup Can.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here, and we'll see a lot more of me.
Let's hope so. On that note, everyone be safe, be well, and thank you for listening to the Soup Can, where we ask the burning question, Soup No O.